All right, let's talk about a silent guardian, a real powerhouse nutrient that's probably hiding in some of your favorite foods right now. We're diving into the world of vitamin E. I mean, just look at this stuff. You've got delicious nuts, seeds, rich oils, whole grains, but what's the common thread? Well, inside every single one of them is this incredible molecule, one of your body's most important defenders. So, what is this unsung hero, really? Let's get into it. Okay, so to really get a grip on what vitamin E does, its big mission in your body, we first have to figure out what it is. And believe it or not, it's actually not just one single thing. The whole story kind of starts with these early researchers. They noticed this, well, component in vegetable oils that turned out to be absolutely essential for reproduction in rats. They gave it a name, tocopherol, and that right there was the beginning of our whole journey to understanding what we now call vitamin E. And get this, vitamin E isn't a single vitamin. It's more like a family name for eight different compounds. They're all split into two main groups. You've got your tocopherols on one side and your tocotrienols on the other. But here's the kicker, the really important part. Out of all 8 of those compounds, only one of them really matters for us humans. Only one has what we call significant vitamin E activity in the body. So when you hear people talk about vitamin E for your health, what they're really talking about is this one specific molecule, alpha tocopherol. That's the one to remember. So we've identified our hero molecule, right? Alpha tocopherol. But now the question is, how does it get from the food on your plate all the way into your cells where it can actually do its job? Well, let's follow its incredible journey through the body. We can basically break this whole process down into 4 key steps. It all starts with ingestion and getting broken down, then it gets absorbed, packaged up for delivery, and finally transported all over your body. Okay, so here's a closer look at how that journey plays out. Once it's absorbed in your intestine, vitamin E gets loaded up into these special little packages called chylomicrons. You can seriously think of them like delivery trucks. Their whole job is to carry the vitamin into your bloodstream and then drive it all over the body to make its deliveries. Now, because vitamin E is what we call fat soluble, it means your body is pretty smart about it. It can store it for later. And where does most of it go? Well, over 90% of it is stored in your adipose tissue, which is just the scientific name for body fat. But smaller and still super important amounts are also stashed away in your liver, lungs, heart, and even your muscles. Okay, so our hero molecule has made it through the whole delivery system and arrived at its destination. So, what now? What is its main mission? This, my friends, is where vitamin E truly shines. It acts like a personal bodyguard for your cells. See, vitamin E is an incredibly powerful antioxidant. And an antioxidant's whole job is to protect your cells from damage. Damage from what? From these unstable molecules called free radicals. A great way to think about free radicals is like tiny, out-of-control thieves just rampaging through your body, trying to steal crucial parts from your healthy cells and causing a ton of chaos and damage along the way. And this is where our bodyguard, vitamin E, steps in and puts up its shield. It literally neutralizes those free radical thieves, stopping them in their tracks. It protects the outer walls of your cells, their membranes, from being destroyed. It also shields healthy fats from getting damaged, and, this is a big one, it helps protect your LDL, the bad cholesterol, from a damaging process called oxidation, which is a really key step in the development of heart disease. So you can see how important this is, but what are the stakes, really? I mean, what happens when this cellular bodyguard just isn't around to do its job? And on the flip side, is it possible to have too much of a good thing? Can you have too many bodyguards on duty? Well, let's start with the good news. A true primary deficiency of vitamin E is actually super rare in most people. When we do see it, it's almost always a secondary problem. It's usually linked to certain diseases that, unfortunately, stop the body from properly absorbing fat. And if you can't absorb fat, you can't absorb fat-soluble vitamins like E. A perfect example of this is a condition like cystic fibrosis, which can really interfere with the body's ability to pull those fat-soluble nutrients out of food. And when a deficiency gets really severe, it can lead to something called erythrocyte hemolysis. That's a fancy term for what happens when your red blood cells, left unprotected, literally rupture and fall apart. This is a huge risk, especially for premature infants, because they just haven't had the time to build up their own stores of vitamin E yet. And it doesn't stop there. Over the long haul, a chronic, ongoing deficiency can cause some really serious neuromuscular problems. We're talking about damage to the spinal cord and the retina of the eye,
which can eventually lead to a loss of coordination and really impaired vision.
So let's just sum that up real quick. Having too little, a deficiency, can lead to things like muscle weakness and serious vision problems. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, having too much, toxicity, is also really rare. But at extremely high doses, it can interfere with your blood's ability to clot, which creates a dangerous risk of hemorrhage.
All right, so we've definitely seen just how crucial this protector is. The next logical question is, how do we make sure our cellular bodyguards are well equipped and have everything they need to do their job right? Let's talk about food sources and daily recommendations. And look at that, we've come full circle, right back to where we started. The great thing is that vitamin E is found in so many foods we eat all the time. Just think about all those vegetable oils, nuts and seeds, whole grains. You can even find it in egg yolks and some fatty meats. It's everywhere.
So the big question, how much do you actually need? Well, for most adults, the official recommended daily allowance, the RDA, is just 15 milligrams a day. It's not a huge amount. And what about that upper limit we talked about? The tolerable upper intake level for adults is set at 1,000 milligrams a day. Now, that's a huge jump from the RDA, which shows there's a pretty wide margin of safety. But please remember this is a limit, not a goal you should be shooting for.
So why do we care so much about all this? Well, let's circle back to the science. A key line from the research says it all. The oxidation of LDL and inflammation have been concerned as key factors in the development of heart disease. That single sentence just powerfully underlines the absolutely critical protective role that an antioxidant like vitamin E plays for our long-term health.
So I'll just leave you with this one thought. Your body's cellular bodyguards, they're on standby, ready to protect you 24/7. The real question is, are you giving them the fuel they need?